Good evening, everybody. Sports fans everywhere. And if you're not sports fans, get ready. We are going to convert you against your will into the world of sports ball. Sports ball is not an option. It is life. It is mandate. It is important as water, as H2O, as the element that brings and gives life. And who does not eat, breathe, drink, smell sports any more than one great Woopah Troopah? Woopah, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing good. How are you, Mr. Dadman?
Thank you. Tired a little bit. Saw plenty of squirrels like here on the background, which means I need to change the banner because we just got our internet back a little while ago. Boy, what a frustrating day. No Fortnite stream, no improv chill stream earlier. Just we barely got in time. We actually almost thought about putting this on your channel tonight.
Oh yeah, that would have been interesting. How that would have worked, but
I would have had to wake you up though. But are you rested and ready to go?
I am. I am ready to go.
All right, let's bring in JT Kirk, the next member of our team.
Hail. Am I the team captain? In a manner of speaking?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're always the team captain, sir. You are always the team captain. So how are you doing tonight?
The owner or the GM. So
no, that's got to be me being the team owner and GM. But hey, you know it's okay. You give you're a great spokesman. You got the booming voice for radio for YouTube.
Well, unfortunately, as the team captain, I feel like I got a lot of own goals over the weekend with that Final Four prediction nonsense I did last week. So.
All right,
that's okay. Most of us did, except for one person who won't be named yet.
Yeah. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. I always say, I never put money down on March Madness because it won't be mine after that.
Yes, we always say don't come here for your gambling needs.
Exactly.
But hey, it's all good. Can't wait to see where we stand right now. So, okay, the tweet is out. It's in Discord. We got it all. So let me say hello. We got one good old SciFi Mombie who says hello, and we'll be here in a few minutes. We'll be joining us in a minute. We've got 6 people watching us on Twitch and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. Hit that like button. Share out the stream. Follow us over on Twitch. We're at 122 followers on Twitch. We are 608 subscribers here on YouTube. Let's keep the crusade going. Let's get to 750, then 1,000. Let's then overrun all the other channels in the world, and we will become the YouTube Galactic. And we will have President Woopah of Woopstatska with our military commandant, JT Kirk, keeping everybody, all star sims in line. So with that, let's go to, speaking of the one animal we did not see in the forest this week, not Snortopoopas, but his cousins, the bears, Hawohumans, and other critters from the great Snortopoopas Kubur. Yeah, wait till y'all see when we show everything. God, I can't reveal the Mrs. Thunder, but we did see a manatee for once.
Oh.
We did, yes, exactly. So, and Snortopoopas says he'll
barber.
Same barber. He gets the same barber all the time, but you may probably late for the Mrs. Stream. I will let her know that so much. And Emily Gangadine, hello, welcome. I have missed everybody here because this is the first time I've been able to stream since we had to quit our drive stream, which was really well attended, though. JT Kirk, hello to you. SciFi Mombie and Venus Sparkles. Hello, Venus Sparkles.
Hey,
love having you here because yes, Woopah, stop being old. Exactly.
Well, yeah,
she's very rude. I forgot. I shouldn't have said that.
No, Venus Sparkles is wonderful. Venus Sparkles is wonderful. She's charming, and just need Bucky here now. Then you get in stereo.
It'd be double the bullying.
Snortopoopa said, "I didn't see his cousins, but they saw you." Oh man, we have excellent sniffers. Wow, hey, well, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. But hey, we are now at the end of the college basketball season. Football ended. Now March Madness is winding to an end. We have gone through the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight. Now we're down to the Final Four coming up this next weekend on Saturday with the championship game on Monday. Now presenting some where we stand because of his wonderful and excellent graphics. Tell you what, his graphics outdo ESPN and anything else on YouTube. It's the Woopah. You ready, Woopah?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, well, here we go. We're throwing it over to you, sir. For March Madness, where do we stand, Woopah?
All right, so this is our first in the East, how it shook out. UConn is just kicking everyone's butt. That's pretty much all. Yeah. I know people before the Sweet 16, people were joking about if this is. I don't remember if it was ESPN or Coach who said this was the UConn Invitational. Just joking about pretty much if they're dominant, which was fun, but they didn't really.
Mark D with a C would love that perspective, I'm sure.
But it was, while they were good, it's kind of like, they played.
JT, what the heck?
Oh, he was saying you didn't see them, but they saw you, and I said they smelled them for certain because the Bears. I'm not saying you smell bad to us humans, but Bears have an impeccable sense of smell.
All right, just making sure. Sorry about that, Woopah. But hey, Stunning, oi, glad to see you here. And Fina says she next is practice giving you a hard time. Bucky would be proud of you. Yeah, you ought to message Bucky and tell we got Woopah with us. Okay, Woopah, sorry, go ahead. Now.
To start off, I think UConn played Stetson and Northwestern, which is not exactly football or basketball juggernauts or football juggernauts, but
better football team on Northwestern. But
but so I wasn't really sure how they were going to go, but then San Diego State beats them by 30. Think, San Diego State, they are Mountain West. Maybe they just weren't that good. But then they go to Illinois, Big Ten champs, and they get a 30-0 run on them.
How does that happen in major college basketball?
That's crazy to think. Yeah,
I was watching that. I could not believe my eyes. Dadman, they came out of that locker room at halftime and went 15 minutes without scoring. 15 minutes.
Illinois. Wow. That's insane.
That's the game right there. Once that happens.
I mean, it's unthinkable. You couldn't even draw a shooting foul for that amount of time.
That's
oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a Power 6 conference champion. They're doing that to them. And Illinois has been good. I mean, they've looked good the whole tournament. They definitely took care of business early, in the first weekend, and then, close game versus Iowa State. So that's not a nobody that they beat, and to do it that convincingly is pretty crazy.
I'm distracted by what Stunning and Brave Megatron has said.
No, he's been spray painting all day.
Well, after that, yeah.
Wait for all right.
But no, Dadman, watching this game, the one thing that really kind of made UConn not seem as invincible as this score and that 30-point run made it suggest, they missed quite a bit of shots. And their free throw percentage was terrible. I think it was around something like 25%, 30%. They had plenty of opportunities for a good basketball team to come in and beat them. But
UConn ended up shooting 51% for the game, 31 to 60, 3 of 17 though from 3-point arc, 17.6, 12 of 17 or 70% from the free throw line. But compare that
at the very end, they did pick it up, but like leading for most of the game,
they emptied the bench. They got all the bench guys to walk on. So minute, 2 minutes. They got all these guys that came in, and some guy S Ball actually made a basket. He got 4 minutes. Another guy got 2 minutes. He got a basket. This is like garbage time stuff that you have in early season against the paycheck teams. That come in. And
they got the water boy out there getting shots.
Illinois shot 25% in the game though from the field. 26%, 6 of 23 from 3-point line. They managed 12 of 17, 70.6%, just like UConn at the free throw line, but just out-rebounded by 9.
6 of 23 from the 3-point line.
Yep. So,
I mean, in the NBA, you don't even score 50 points doing that.
Yep. Nope. Not at all. No. And hello to Putin's cat. Good to see you tonight. How are you doing? So, stunning. Why not try that? As long as you don't get arrested for graffiti, okay? That's the main thing. So, all right. Yeah, I read about that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the games this weekend being at camp. But you just, I read that line, and it just seems so inconceivable in major college basketball these days. That's what you might hear either in a women's game or like when UConn plays Stetson. Even Stetson scored 16 by 10 minutes or 10 points by 10 minutes.
And part of the thing about this too, the matchups I felt like just weren't there for Illinois. I mean, Illinois had a center that I think was 6'7" or 6'8".
Yeah.
And this guy on UConn was a whole head taller than him. So, I mean, you can kind of push him in the back a little bit, maybe get some positioning on him, but
7'2".
Yeah.
The UConn center 7'2".
You're not stopping him. If he wants to throw the ball over your head, he's going to do it. If he wants to dunk, he's going to do it. So almost felt a little bad for that center.
Actually,
not really.
Illinois was playing with a starting guard and 4 forwards. So, that are usually your forwards are 6'6" to 6'8" also. So size doesn't matter. That's why I think that Florida got hurt coming into the tournament, and they got bounced because they had no defense against Colorado, because even though their 7-footer did not score a lot, he could score some, but he made a defensive and a rebounding presence in so many games. He could get the ball over people. He could keep the ball alive, tip it out, or get the rebounds over a guy smaller than him. And it's just a huge difference when you have a competent center that can score points, because for UConn, Donovan Klingen is his name. He scored, let's see what match against Illinois in only 22 minutes, JT. 22 minutes, he scored 22 points. I mean, he's not good at the free throw line, but 22 points, 10 rebounds, 5 blocks in 22 minutes. It's just like, dang. That's an easy day at the office.
I mean,
but you compare the game against South Dakota, though. He only scored 8 points, 8 rebounds, and played 23 minutes against San Diego State. Yeah, they had a bigger win. He was more active in this game, it seemed like.
And part of it, I felt another thing on this too was conditioning. Illinois was trying to run all these design plays, throwing the ball around the outside, doing all this crazy stuff, trying to look like Michigan State and not score any points. But, dang it, you've got a quadruple assist every time you actually make a basket. So they would do that, not get their own rebound, and then UConn would just automatically, 3 seconds later be all the way down, in their paint, making another bucket. So when you've got one team that can just run and gun it like that, and then you're trying to set up these slow, deliberate 30-second plays every time, it just, I don't see how you can win like that if you can't play with them, because they did not control the game at all. I mean, you run those types of slower plays to try to chew up the clock, but if you can't answer them, it's worthless for you. But anyway.
Yep. So now we're here in the East. So UConn advances out of the East in what was, kind of surprisingly, not even a close contest. So, any other thoughts on this one, Woopah, before we move on to the next bracket, the next round?
No. I have the prediction results. We have everyone picked UConn to win, and also everyone picked Iowa State to win. So that part didn't work out very well. We got all or nothing on this one. And then me and you both had them in the Final Four here. So that's how the points shake out there.
I don't know what I was thinking. I wanted Illinois to win something.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois was looking good. That's why I think it makes this such a surprise. It's not just that it happened, but how badly it happened, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
and the Iowa State game was a little messy. So I
that
only
one
caught
was
parts
messy.
of that, but 72-69, I feel like maybe Iowa State, they'd had a slightly better game. They could have put up at least a respectable showing with UConn.
Let's bring in our other member of the panel, the great SciFi Mombie. Hey, SciFi, how are you tonight?
What's up, party people? I'm good.
All right. Well, we're
finally
just moving
home.
along. Yay! Well, good. You're glad they're in one piece. So we're just talking about the end of the East bracket and how this was a one-sided contest. So, Woopah, and you showed that you and I picked UConn. Who did JT and SciFi Mombie have coming out of this originally?
They both had
they both had Illinois.
Iowa State, not Illinois.
Iowa State. Okay. All right. Just was curious. That was not a bad pick, but you wonder if Iowa State would have given UConn a better game. But hey, it is what it is.
UConn's playing. I don't know if anyone will give them a big game. They might win every game by 20 plus.
Might do that unless they play Purdue, and that could be interesting. Who has its own 7-footer? All right, well, let's move into the next bracket, the next region. Then, so we got the East recap here. So UConn coming out of the East. Where is Keely Chow? You know, the guy Keely Chow's all around all the channels, but I will say this one time, and it pains me.
No. You can say it on mute, Dadman. I'm sorry. I'm pulling a mulligan. I'm overruling you on your own show. We're not saying that phrase. Have some self-respect. Dadman, have some self-respect.
Look, self-respect went out the window when I started singing Rocky Top. So
that's true. You're going out of control. This guy, we don't know if he's a Gator fan anymore.
I know, exactly. Oh, have you ever seen when they took the Tide box and put a roll of toilet paper on a big broomstick or mop? That's one of their. I did not. If you look on, you can find it where some people at a game on a broomstick or mop, they'll put attach a box, a Tide detergent box, and then a roll of toilet paper on top of it for Roll Tide. All right, but on that note, okay, so here we got coming out of the West, North Carolina, Alabama pulls the upset in this game. What's it? Is that 89-87? That's
yep.
And it's really in Alabama, two games in a row, 89 points. Wow. And Clemson, like JT and I thought, Clemson was on that firestorm, very hot. Then they knock off Arizona. And then we've got Alabama, Clemson, and Alabama moves on. So how did you see this game for y'all that watched it?
I didn't get to watch that game, so I don't know. Default to others. Alabama tied it in a sent it to overtime in a pretty crazy way though.
Yeah, I call shenanigans on Alabama winning anything in basketball. So
it is. I don't want to,
I feel like this is how it boiled out. Okay, in my own alternate universe here. Somebody looked at this bracket and said, "Oh, Alabama and Clemson, they're two great teams," because ESPN had a bunch of football people looking at this, and then they said, "Oh, this would be great. We have to get Alabama and Clemson in basketball too."
Yeah, no one told them.
How do we fix this?
No one told them that wasn't the CFP. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, there's a 12-loss Clemson team. Well, now with 12 losses, a 12-loss Clemson team, 11-loss Alabama team that actually now are in the Final Four.
Which, hey, kudos to them on that, right?
Yeah.
It adds some excitement. It probably busted everybody's brackets out there.
Oh yeah.
See, Alabama's a team I did not trust. They lost to Florida twice down the stretch. And then one time that they beat Florida, they came back at the very end, but they were at home. So you kind of, it's a team that did not do well in the conference tournament. It went out in the first round. They had all the signs of a team that was not playing well going in the tournament, but then again, they got hot.
Mm-hmm. And then beating UNC just makes that Michigan State loss to UNC hurt a little bit more because the number 1 loses to the number 4. It's like, okay, well, what are you doing at number 9 that number 4 did that you didn't? It just, it's frustrating as a fan of Michigan State. So
Alabama out rebounded Clemson by 11 in this game. Free throws 60, 15 made for Alabama, 8 made by Clemson. But Clemson was only 50%, 8 of 16. 3-point line, Alabama had double the number of made threes and actually outshot Clemson from the 3-point line by about 14%. So overall, I mean, Alabama got back to the way they are, the team, how they play, running gun and scoring a lot of points. Oh, and we like cats. Let's see. Hold on a second. Sorry. There you go. Stream. Just know the cat is watching the stream. We love cats. All right. Cats are also for streamers take over the channel, don't they? SciFi Mombie.
Cats are the guardians of the SciFi Mombie house. They're looking at me right now going, shut up, Mom.
Yes, please hit like and subscribe. By the way, we are at 6:08 now tonight when I looked at it. So thank you. Let's try to get up to 6:10. And then I got to edit this thing. But okay. Any other thoughts? Mombie, SciFi, JT, Woopah?
Yeah. Alabama confuses me. I don't know if they've had a single big win, even though they're here in the. I mean, you can say, well, they beat UNC. It's good. They were the weakest one. So we'd like to point that out. But it's just they did score 100 versus Charleston, but they also gave up 96. So that was they were close. You look at the Grand Canyon score and it's like, oh, they won by 11, but up until 3 minutes left in the second, it was pretty close. And they beat UNC by 2 in OT, and then they beat Clemson, which I guess is a solid win, but it's just
they've not put anyone away.
Yeah, and it's the whole time oh, this is a team that if they can get a good offense, that maybe they won't make it. But here they are still. It's very confusing to me, but they made it still.
Yep. Okay. Any other thoughts on this game before we decide to move into another bracket?
Yeah, I'll put on the predictions.
Another ugly result.
We had a Dadman sweep and a Woopah reverse sweep. I got everything right.
Yay. I tell you what, though, JT and I really came very close to picking Clemson because I was like, JT, this team, the Clemson was just so unstoppable the first round.
I liked them.
Yeah, they looked really good. And then they beat Arizona, and it was just, I'm honestly shocked Alabama beat North Carolina. The team had struggled a lot down the stretch, but, they win that game. Obviously, they beat Clemson. So
Dadman, not only did we like Clemson, I think, well, I know I did anyway, but maybe you did as well. Both had bad feelings about Arizona. Just
Arizona always. Go ahead, SciFi.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona, I just don't like Arizona.
But habitually they've lost.
I'm agreeing.
Yeah, and habitually they've had a history of losing in early rounds too. I mean, this year
they do like to choke. Right. I was just hoping we'd get a Caleb Love versus UNC grudge match. I would have loved to see that.
Hail to you, Comic Relief Crusader. Good to see you tonight. Good to see you as always. Hopefully you like some basketball. If not, we will make you. Our goal is to sit out here and convert everybody to the world of sports ball. Even if you don't like it, you have to come here, subscribe, watch this channel, and we will entertain you and we will answer questions. So
you have to. It's not
yeah,
optional.
you have to. It must. What we need to do is sit, we need to sit Bucky and Vina on everybody else out there. How about that? You think they do it? That kind of laugh.
I mean, that kind of dual threat, I think I would have to be a sports ball fan. No choice. I mean,
absolutely.
Think about what's important here.
Yeah.
All right. Hey.
All right, are we ready to move forward? Or?
Well, let's go. Let's go.
All right. So we got the South recap here. This is the big upset. This is America's team right now, NC State. The only, I guess you can count Alabama in, but I don't think anyone would ever, even if it's basketball, I don't think anyone would count Alabama as an underdog. But yeah, this is the big NC State here. The 11th seed making the Final Four. I think that ties them for the lowest seed to ever make the Final Four.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is.
Wow.
Yep. Now, remember that they said that you remember the Jim Valvano National Championship team took a similar path. Had to win the conference tournament to get into the NCAAs, and then was a low seed, and then worked its way up, to an eventual national championship. So,
yeah, I mean, this team, the biggest thing about them to me is this is their. I mean, I know it's different going from NCAA tournament or from conference tournament to NCAA tournament, but they have 9 straight tournament wins now.
wow.
This is like I don't think you can be hotter than that. And look,
because they had to play. They had to play the play-in rounds in the ACC tournament. They had to play before anybody else on the first day, so they had to win consistently. And then the miracle it took for them to turn around to knock off Syracuse at the force overtime. The game time shot was just incredible, and it's a miracle that they forced overtime, and then eventually they won it.
Now, here are the other teams that made that 11th seed.
I would probably buy a Powerball, and I don't endorse gambling, but if I was NC State, I'd probably do it because of the luck and the streak they're on right now.
Oh, yeah.
The other teams that made it, it's 11th seed to the Final Four, UCLA, 2021, Loyola Chicago, 2018, VCU, 2011, Georgia Mason, 2006, and then all the way, the only one back in the last millennium was LSU in 86. So, 37 years ago? Almost 38 years ago.
Was that?
So,
no, that was too early for Shaq, wasn't it?
It might have been the Shaq team.
I say that's what I'm wondering.
Let's see.
I think that was a little too early for him.
Let's see. Yeah, it was because he was first round NBA draft in 92.
Yeah.
So there's no way unless he played for like 6 years, which he did not.
He was the mega red shirt.
Yeah. Anyway, but it was pretty close. I mean, he may have gone there because of what they did.
That could have convinced them.
Unfortunately, it's LSU, right? So
anyway.
Yep.
But this is a very interesting. This is another thing with NC State. They've beat some pretty good teams. They've now beat Duke twice in this 9-game run. Beat UNC. They just beat number 2 seed Marquette. And a lot of these are 9-point win over Marquette, a 12-point win over Duke. Interesting enough that I think their 2 closest games in this run has been to Syracuse and Oakland, which is kind of silly to think about. They've been dominating the good teams, but then maybe the less than stellar teams have been tight against. This Houston and Duke game was pretty good. It's interesting and kind of sad because I think Houston probably wins if they don't lose Sheard. Is that how you say it? In that first half, only losing by 3, close game. But yeah, I mean, here's NC State. Definitely the hottest team in basketball right now. I guess besides maybe UConn. But
well, I don't think I made good choices in this at all, but I'll say this. I appreciate Duke losing and UNC losing.
I think everybody
losing, all these blue and white teams just losing before the Final Four is just music to my ears.
But look at what happened. Duke was up by 6 though at halftime, and then explosive NC State outscores Duke by 18 in the second half, and they score 55 points in the second half.
Now, when you said, but then explosive, I thought ... Never mind.
Okay.
I thought that's where you were going with that.
Nope. But yeah, Duke only had 2 points off the bench, while NC State had 10 points off the bench, but they only played 2 players off the bench. NC State did. They really have shortened their bench. That's a team that could get in trouble without a lot of depth if they're going to play, as they go, if they start to get in foul trouble. And we know how some officials officiate their games,
Yeah, that is true.
This isn't the Purdue game yet. We're still in the South.
All right. Well, hey.
Yeah, we've got these. No one, probably not surprisingly, but no one picked NC State to move on. I was the only bozo who picked Duke over here, but I did pick NC State to beat Marquette at least. So we've got 2 banana guys over here again. There's a theme. This guy is pretty good.
Yep. Hey. Banana guy is on fire this year.
Yeah.
I was due for a good year.
I don't know who let him pick.
Well, it always turned in ahead of game, so no cheating. All right, so we've got the South recap here now.
Now you got the Midwest.
Yep.
And here's Purdue.
Wow.
Creighton.
Oiler up. Toot toot.
Creighton sold against Tennessee, which is frustrating, but Purdue beat Gonzaga and then beat Tennessee. But with a 6-man on the court, you could say.
You could say that, and you'd be pretty right.
Yeah. Wow. And that comes from JT Kirk, though. And this is a big 12.
I don't like playing them, especially playing them in West Lafayette.
25 fouls against Tennessee. 2 players fouled out, and only 12 fouls against Purdue. Purdue shot 21 of 33 free throw attempts, and Tennessee only shot 11 free throw attempts.
There's a very interesting stat I saw on Twitter. In the last 3 NCAA tournaments, there's been 4 games where one team has double-digit more fouls than the other. And in all 4 of those games, you want to guess who the team on the benefiting side was?
One team, Purdue.
Yep.
Wow. I was going to say Creighton, but Purdue was my second guess.
The one problem, though, I will say in criticism of Tennessee in this game is, and this is probably a problem with them all season, they have one player in double figures. This Connect guy, he's like a big scorer. I mean, he transferred in, but he took 31 of the team's 62 field goal attempts, half the shots. When you have that much running through one player, you and not much from your big man and other positions, you're not going to go long in a tournament like this. It's like you need the contributions from the whole team, other players involved, not just one person, to feeding into the effort. Because, like in this case, they had 2 guys foul out. They were 26 rebounds. They were out rebounded by 21 rebounds also. You can't – there's multiple reasons for the Tennessee loss, not just the officiating. But, golly, But see, Purdue has the same problem coming up. Eddie, 40 of their 72 points. They had a guard that scored 14, but you're like, this may be good, but when Purdue or even a Tennessee, whatever, what happens when they run into a team like UConn? But we'll still find out.
One of the key observations I'm going to make here, and this is some deep analytics. I think maybe the MLB may even hire me for this level of, number crunching. All of the orange jersey teams lost in the Elite Eight.
Oh,
wow.
So yeah, there's a stat. There's a stat to keep in your back pocket.
That's tough.
That's deep and fascinating.
Yeah. Isn't it though? There's not much to be said about this. I mean, it was obvious Purdue was walking away with the whole thing, at least to me. To me. I'm just glad that the Big Ten managed to squeak one into the Final Four, because the rest of the teams did not play like they wanted to be there, at least in my opinion. Michigan State, Wisconsin, they let everybody down early. Illinois, I don't even know what that was. So
yeah, geez.
Yep.
But
all right,
let's see with the predictions here. We had JT. He picked the Purdue all the way.
We got one more team in the Final Four.
Boiler up, toot. Boiler up, toot. As he holds his nose.
Exactly.
Did I not send in a prediction on this one?
You did.
I'm missing. No, okay.
You did. You did what I did in the last one, and Woopah did, I think, two brackets ago.
Yeah, I did.
The big donut. Fortunately. Everybody but Dadman.
Yeah, this Dadman guy, I think he's cheating. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he hacked into
got an insider.
I think he hacked into my slideshows and just
I had a friend that said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So anyway, but no, I got it all in time.
Did they coach for Alabama?
Oh no, just what?
Okay,
I take the Alabama head football coaching job. I'll take it for half the salary. I'll save him some money. I'll give him the hometown discount.
There you go.
Even from Alabama, so. But yeah, this was the game I was disappointed, the Tennessee Purdue game. But Purdue moves on. So now we got a Final Four that's set. So how are we looking for our Final Four, and how are our predictions coming up this week, Woopah?
All right, so we got our predictions standings, and then they're not pretty because, they might be pretty for Dadman. I forgot to turn. Whoops, there you go. But Dadman is crushing all of us here. Look at the 7-1 in Sweet 16. His only loss was Iowa State, which everyone got wrong. The rest of us are at or below 500 here. And we came into this so close. It was a very good, we thought, maybe it'll be a good matchup. But Dadman pretty much put it away right away. Yep. He also was the only one who got 2 Elite Eight. The rest of us had 1, which is interesting. The 3 of us, me, JT, and Mombie, all our ones were all different one. There was no one.
That is crazy.
Different one guy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I do feel like, though, Woopah, at this point in time, we could probably let Dadman know. Dadman, we did have a side meeting, and before we turned in our picks, we just said, it's Dadman's channel.
Okay.
He hasn't always done the best in the past.
That makes you a great
throw this one.
Yeah. That makes you a great guest on his own channel. That makes you a great guest, because your job is to make the host look better. So good job. You did it.
100%.
Yep.
Good job. Yeah.
Hey,
no, but in all fairness, great job, Devin.
No,
yes.
Yeah.
How am I missing these meetings?
Yeah. No, I'll be honest. I just this year avoided picking the off the chain upsets, especially after the first round. So that's kind of why I did a lot of that. And hey, TJ Play Nice, welcome. Good to see you tonight. How are you? laughing about that. Yeah, hey, that's all good, and the Bear's still awake. Hey, Bear, good to see you, sir. All right, so this is where we stand now, and so where are we going now with the? How does our Final Four look? Nothing like a graphical representation. And how did we come out on these picks, or how did we pick?
Yeah, so Dadman does. I mean, there's only 3 games left, so Dadman is comfortably in first. We could have some shakeup down here, a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. JT is in second. I'm in third. And Mombie's in fourth.
Woohoo! Dead last.
That's the spirit.
I'll wear that badge proudly. Thank you.
It was close. I mean, it was. We were doing great, and we didn't all pick the same ones. It was all very close up until we let Dadman win. You know?
There you go.
Up until then, but honestly, yeah, we've been doing really good. Just Dadman turned it on extra for these
in the Sweet 16. That's where you won it.
7-1 is crazy. That really was. As I'm watching, I'm like, well, I think this one's over. But we've got. So I broke it down a little bit more for this since it's only 2 more matchups. Don't have as much to go over. Final Four matchup number 1, we've got UConn and Alabama. So things to highlight here. This Alabama offense, this is number 1 in the nation. 90.6 points is the best. Everyone. That's really the big thing. They, shoot a lot from 3, and they're fairly decent at it. Alabama's big thing is offense. They're going to go as the offense goes.
But I mean, it's so comparable. You're working your way down this, and you're like seeing where everything is. I mean, 1 to 2% difference in a lot of these numbers is not a giant gap at all. When you look at those rebounds, 39.9 to 39, like, I mean, how can you get much closer than that?
But I will tell you the difference between these 2 teams is that 7'2" guy from Clemson, from UConn. Bama plays a 3-guard offense. Their forwards, Pringle is 6'10". Nelson, who's another starter, he's 6'11". And I've seen them play. They're good. They're sort of athletic, but the other guy's got 3 inches on them easily. And Alabama's got a couple other forwards that are taller, but they don't play much. So that to me is they got another 6'11". Alabama does. They have some size, but their size I don't think translates to what UConn size, what their big man is. So, but it just depends on how the big man plays. Is it the guy that shows up against San Diego State is just average, or is it the guy that took over and controlled the Illinois game? But I've seen Alabama play. They've struggled with teams with size, with a big man, even though they have size. Florida, like I said, should have beat them 3 times this year. They pulled out and won the game at the end at home, but Florida won at home. Florida won in the tournament fairly easily both times when they had their 7-footer in it. This is going to come down, I think, to UConn's front line and how they perform on the front line. And I don't think that's something intangibly you can't tell from these stats. If you've watched the teams play, you can see more about what I'm saying. But not having seen the teams, you're right exactly about the stats. They're very even. If you look at the sizes, they're very, very even. But if you look at how they actually play in games, Alabama does better. And what I think is in this game, they better shoot 50% from the field. If they're going to stay with UConn, they're going to have to score maybe 100 points in this game. They can't afford to go cold. They can't afford a 60 or 70 point output because I don't think that they have the size or the input inside game to stand with UConn.
If they're going to play the 3-point game, that'll be dangerous, right? Because it's not like they have the option for rebounds.
Oh yeah,
with UConn, the way that is, You know, so I think you're right, Dadman. They're going to have to be hot out there, and they cannot go cold. And that, that's an NBA style game for sure.
Yep.
I don't know. I haven't seen as much of Alabama as you have. The way you're describing it, I don't know if they're going to make that. But also just adding up the strength of opponent's schedule. UConn's schedule is easier by a grand total of 1.
Oh, by the add up the seeds.
Yeah. I mean, I know you can't really do that, but yeah, if you add up the seeds and try to look at the strength of schedule, it's almost exactly the same. But you can also make an argument that UNC was the weakest one. So I mean, not an infallible metric, but looking at the numbers without Dadman's input, I think it would be a harder choice.
I think the biggest thing here is look at UNC's smallest win was 17 points so far. So they've just been dominating everyone that they've played. And I think that I think the big thing with that Alabama will have going against it maybe is going to be the UConn defense. Alabama is a offense first team. You can see that they're less than 10 points for points for and points against differential, which still pretty good. But for a lot of times when you get to these number 1 seeds, you can see UConn there. That's almost 20 points, and that's how a lot of it goes because you just have a lot of every team. UConn had a pretty good out of conference schedule, but almost every team, they have the cupcakes.
Yep.
And usually those number 1 seeds, it sets them apart as they just dominate those guys. They dominate the lower competition, and that this UConn team has some pretty good defense. If they can stop them, if they can just get 2-3 more stops than UNC did, that should be a UConn ball game, but we'll see.
I think the other thing we'll see that might help Alabama, though, is if they're able to put up, 90 points, 100 points, they're going to play maybe well enough to negate some of the UConn defense. And I'm looking at that after watching the Illinois game, where Illinois had the drought, only put up 52. They had so much problem getting back on defense to the point where UConn was just dunking. It was a dunk competition there for a few minutes there. If Alabama can play that up and down the court style ball and go toe to toe with UConn, maybe their big doesn't help them after all. Because it takes him getting in position to have that big effect. If you can get around him in the middle of the court somewhere, totally different ball game too.
Absolutely. All right. Any thoughts on this, Sci-Fi?
No, I mean, I'm not surprised about UConn, but I really don't know Alabama that well. So just kind of watching and learning, and maybe next year I'll get better at this.
Yeah. Just got to watch the games. You see a lot from playing it. That's why I started watching when I was with Mom in the rehab and stuff. I was watching basketball and different conferences and stuff as much as I could. So it's fun. There's nothing like tournament basketball. So, all right, Woopah, let's get into the last matchup. JT's favorite matchup. All right.
Yeah, we got 3 number 1 seeds here. You can see.
1 and number 11.
Yeah. So this is really an interesting one here. Obviously, you can say NC State going through number 6, number 11, number 2, and number 4. So pretty tough schedule here. You look at NC State, their stats on surface level just don't look that good, which is kind of the status. They were the 10th seed in the ACC tournament, and then they're the 11th seed here. they've just been ridiculously hot, to end the season, but maybe, not great to start off. Only 4 points, 4 more points for them, points against. Not as many rebounds, which is interesting, but a lot of steals. 3-point percentage, not great.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing with Purdue here is you would see like, oh, look at 41% 3-point percentage. That's great. They don't take a lot of those, so it's like it is high, yes, but that's kind of to do with they're very selective with them. You're not going to get a high flying kind of NBA offense like we were talking about with Alabama. This is much more due in the paint through Zach Edey. If you leave them open, they'll drain a three, but they're probably not going to be very in your face about it.
Yep.
I feel like that can be a Big Ten thing too. A lot of teams in the Big Ten don't like doing that. They like running these well-designed plays that, stretch the defense the wrong way, and then they shoot from real close. Just, that's how a lot of those schools play. So whenever you see Michigan State, Purdue, Wisconsin, Indiana, playing these other conferences, you can see a really different type of ball being played, which in this game, I don't know how much of that you'll see. I did notice, though, the free throw percentages on both of these teams. Who are you going to pick to foul at the end of the game? Because you don't want to pick most of them. I would not want to get in foul trouble on either one of these teams. I really would not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think.
Well, this is the case that NC State only played 7 in the last game, so they have a short bench. So that's a team that they cannot afford overly involved officials in the game. So I'm wondering if that conference commissioners and the coach are going to be talking to those officials before the game, because, it's like if you're only running 7 to 8 deep in a tournament, you can't afford to pull like a Tennessee, where two of your guys foul out. And if that happened in the Elite Eight in a regional, it can happen in the Final Four. It has happened.
No, yeah, that's definitely true.
And their 3-point percentage isn't abysmal with NC State, but it's certainly not fantastic either, right? So that's going to be a tough thing for them to try to get inside and not start getting charges and looking at the defense the wrong way, shooting 2 off of that and all the rest. So,
yeah. And so, interesting thing about all this, I think, is really all these teams, all the Final Four teams, they have a big man. You get different ones, like, UConn and Purdue have the kind of traditional big men, Zach Edey, and I forget who the UConn's guy is. Alabama does have that 6'10" guy. He's pretty lanky, but
they get several of them. They throw several at you. So
they've got a lot of big guys. Not a lot of more tall guys, not big guys.
Yeah,
and then
Klingon is that for UConn?
Klingon, yeah.
Klingon.
I was calling him Klingon. It's Klingon. You said it right, but I was just calling him Klingon. Anyway.
But they have NC State is kind of the opposite. Alabama's got a lot of long, lanky guys, and NC State's got DJ Burns Jr. He's the smallest big man at 6'9", but he is 275. He is a thick dude, and he is he's kind of that. He can command the post. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, because obviously Zach Edey is. Both of these guys are the top players on their team, DJ Burns and Zach Edey. On one hand, you look at and say, if you're going to have someone who can actually, boss Edey around, it's going to be DJ Burns Jr. he's not just tall, he's big. A lot of these, if you've seen Wemby in the NBA, it's like, yeah, sure, he's tall, but it looks like a strong gust of wind might tip him over. DJ Burton's is not a pushover defensively. But then, other side might say, if that's your best player going up against Zach Edey, well, they'll probably foul out 10 minutes into the game. So that's a bad, that might be bad for him. So we'll really see. That's kind of the big matchup here. That's all I got. You want to move on to the predictions?
That's all we can do. Yep, let's go to predictions then.
All right. So we got the final four predictions. Got all four of these lovely people down here. Yeah, you can see 1-1 and 11-4. And for the predictions for this final four game, I'm picking UConn. Dadman's taking UConn. JT's taking UConn, and Mombie's taking UConn. Everyone taking UConn. I don't think that's too surprising after seeing what they did versus Illinois. Hard to pick against them, especially with the Alabama team that seems to have, hasn't been exploited yet, but seems to have some definite weaknesses here. Then for the other side,
well, like I said, I think really too with Alabama, I just don't trust Alabama to be efficient offensively to hit like 67. They're probably going to have to shoot 55%, stay in this game with UConn. They don't. Their big man can score, but not like UConn's big man. They're guard driven, and if they're not falling, if they're not scoring, they like 90, 95 points. And they've shown the ability to go cold, and they have down the end of the season. So I just don't. It's more that I don't trust Alabama to come up and perform in this game. And good night, Snortapoopas.
Yep, good night, Snortapoopas.
Take care. So, but yeah, any other thoughts on this game that we have not covered already? If not, we can go to the reveal on the other game, Purdue NC State.
Yep. Okay, sure. This one, NC State and Purdue. I'm starting off with the big upset. I have NC State making it to the final.
All right.
Dadman's got Purdue.
No.
JT's got
I don't
Purdue,
want to.
Mommy's got Purdue.
I don't want to, but yeah.
I had to make it a little exciting, but no,
exactly.
It's first of all, it's just 9 straight tournament wins. NC State is as hot as can be, and they've been playing some good teams doing it. I mean, beat Duke twice, beat UNC, which ended up being a 1 seed in the tournament. They're very solid. I really think it comes down to I will say, I think it just comes down to the refs. I think DJ Burns can give Zach Edey some trouble. And if that happens, who knows what happens. But if this ends up being another game where the refs let Edey get away with murder and, call anyone who, so much as bumps into Edey for a foul, this could be over quick. So I think that's really the difference there. Well, you guys are going to boiler up. So
yep.
No, not doing toot tonight.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't give 2 toots about your NC State, but I guess I have to give 2 toots about your NC State. I think my only question here is, I am more certain than I was about the Elite Eight matchups. Who is going to score with a bigger margin of victory? Which game, UConn or Purdue? I think is my question. I think both these teams have it locked up, but hey.
Yeah.
in Woopah, you're hoping for that win because then you're only one game back.
Yes, if I win here, I'm tied.
You kind of have to.
So I'm hoping for it. But he can go into a final championship prediction. So almost everyone's got the same prediction. These three, they have UConn and Purdue. I've got UConn at NC State. And for our championship predictions, I'm taking UConn. Dadman's got UConn. JT's got Purdue, his favorite team. And Mombie's got UConn. So,
well, SciFi Mombie has a very nice avatar. Dadman's got a very nice smiling avatar. They're both very friendly. Woopah and I are staring each other cold. Like, who's going to blink first?
Yeah.
Like,
all right. I love that.
You got your arms up like, hey,
I love
we looking at Punk?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I love that. This is a really cool graphic, though.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah, I feel like we're about ready to start a boxing match or something. We're just anyway, but it could come down to this game. It could.
Don't let the smile fool you. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know if I'd do very good in a boxing match. I got no arms. That's going to be difficult. All I can do is dodge and weave.
Yeah, there you go. Butterfly or bee, whatever how the saying goes. I always forget how it goes. You know the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what? Since you're the outlier here, JT, what had you picking Purdue?
I think UConn's going to get sloppy, going overconfident, and I really just want the Big Ten to not lose. Please don't lose. I don't like UConn. Sorry, Mark D with the C.
I agree with you. I would love to see Purdue win this game, and then I would love to see Alabama win the championship overall. But I'm trying to stick with actual,
Purdue's been pretty methodical. Do I give them over 50% chance of winning? No, but I want them to win, so I'm going to pick them. And I figured everyone else would pick UConn, so it would be a 1-point swing against three others my way. Kind of like how Woopah picked NC State.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just be a little different.
And if NC State wins, I will pick them to win it all. So,
yes,
the anti-UConn ticket is where I'm going with that. I don't know. I think if you get two of those giants, Purdue against UConn, maybe the Purdue giant does better. They finally have to take someone on their own size.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of going with UConn just because of how dominant they've been. But you could get to the camp of the last team to lose to a 16 seed and won the championship the next year. So maybe, this is Purdue. It's their destiny. Maybe that's why they've been getting all these foul calls, because it's in the script. You never know.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to bet against the script writers. They're usually right. So
now the final game's in Glendale.
Yep.
Does that have any bearing on this for either of these teams?
I don't think so. All these teams are what? Purdue's
Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of those. They're both the same. I don't know. Then you got UConn and Connecticut, Alabama, and Alabama, and NC State, and North Carolina. So all these are pretty. I don't think there's no one's going to get like a home court advantage.
I think Purdue. I don't know if they still are. I thought Purdue was in Central Time.
They are. Actually, I don't know.
They might be in Eastern. Indiana's really funny like that, trying to figure it out because it doesn't even always remain the same. But yeah, otherwise these are all Eastern Time Zone teams. So from like a travel perspective, I think they all have the same amount of jet lag, give or take.
Yep. And they're playing in
I was gonna say, aren't they the other state that doesn't believe in daylight savings time like Arizona?
Oh, they believe in it, but only like
Oh, I thought
half
they
the
refused
state.
to use it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's I didn't know
Yeah.
apparently some of Indiana is Central Time, some of it is Eastern Time. That seems like it would get confusing real quick.
Mm-hmm.
West Lafayette is on Eastern Time.
Those poor kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the two that don't believe it is Arizona, where they're playing,
Definitely.
and Hawaii, which I guess Hawaii just said, listen, we're in the middle of the ocean. We don't care, which is fair.
Much to Dadman's dismay on New Year's Eve.
Well, aloha.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't know they played the. Maybe I should have known. I didn't know they played the Final Four in like they're playing in the Cardinals Stadium, the Arizona Cardinals Stadium. That's gonna be. I think some of this is cool, but like when you get the basketball games or hockey games like in stadiums, it's always kind of like, man, what's the view from the nosebleeds are like? Because I already know the nosebleeds in like normal football games can be kind of tough, but definitely once you get to kind of these small court or small rink games, I'm like, if you're up in like the 400 section, what can you actually tell what's going on?
In hockey, a lot of times you can't. The puck's too small, and you're like, okay, why'd I pay this money to get up there? But
yeah, just wait to see if someone throw their hands up, and they're like, oh, okay, goal.
Yeah, and even at like if you go to a Michigan game in the Big House, which pretty crappy stadium, but it has 100,000 people. They just added rings around the outside. So you get like 2/3 up, you can't even see the damn football. And they would play hockey in there and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, this is not an enjoyable place to play. Maybe that Arizona Cardinals Stadium is a little bit better for that, one hopes, because those will be expensive tickets. I just don't like that stadium because the Lions lost like 18 years in a row, something like that, playing there. So bad history.
Yeah. That's all we've got for predictions here. I think that's March Madness done, unless you guys have anything else to add.
Nope.
Just go UConn.
Yay. All right. Go roll tide. So
goodness.
Stunning says use your horns. Yay. One of these things are not like the other. One of these things doesn't belong. Can you tell me which thing is not like for fishes? Yeah, I love that. And only one of you chose P. Yes.
Yep.
P. That's very appropriate for Boiler Up Toot Toot.
Yep.
Although I think an S is more appropriate. All right. Well, that does it for our March Madness recap after an hour, 8 minutes. And usually that takes us 3 hours because of so much of March Madness. But hey, at the end of the summary, we've got UConn and Purdue looking to be advanced to the championship game. And 3 of us take UConn, 1 take Purdue. And so, yeah, go take care of business, Stunning. Go take care of business. All right. Well, let's move on. What subject should we cover next, Woopah? Should we go into Major League Baseball for a little bit?
Well, our next thing is actually the best football league on earth. It's the
UFL. Let's hit this. Yeah. All right. Week 1.
So week 1, this was the XFL champion versus the USFL champion.
Hey, Lemon Pie, welcome. Lemon Pie, go out there, shake up the cages, bring a lot of other people in. We're going to make them Spurts fans too. Hey, and if you don't like it, we're going to make you guys laugh. So go round them up, Lemon Pie. I can't pay you, but hey, I can ask you. Thank you, Lemon Pie. Great to see you as always. Okay, we got Birmingham Stallions, and is that the Arlington?
That's the Arlington Renegades. I use their old logo because it's cooler than just the big old R that they changed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's so stupid. I know. Exactly.
Yeah, we have here Birmingham pretty much took care of business. It was close in the first half, but once Birmingham was kind of juggling quarterbacks, and once they got in the swing of things, I kind of took over the game. Deion Kane here had 66 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown, and also did pretty good on kick returns. CJ Marable had total 100 all-purpose yards, so that was pretty big. On the kind of renegade side, Luis Perez had a kind of an up and down game, 2 turnovers, but did have 214 passing yards. Big thing was Devion Smith supposed to be the kind of their starting running back. Only 17 yards on 7 carries, not great. And I think that probably hurt him a lot, that kind of performance. But that's really all there is to this game.
Nope. But hey, we got spring football again, so that's always good.
We do have spring football again. Then
the real story is in the other game, though, isn't it?
Yep.
This one, yeah.
It's
not a good story.
Oh, no, it was a great story.
Just skip this one, But oh gosh, it was a good game. Like I felt better watching this game, us lose and the Cardinals lose, 7-1 opening day. So there's that. But
the Michigan quarterback, just awful.
The Michigan, you mean the Michigan running back? Or?
The quarterback.
No, the running back, because he's their RB2 since he's got 2 rushing touchdowns, but doesn't know how to play the football accurately.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
But,
you are right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But,
anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he definitely didn't look great, except for a couple. He got some big, pretty much some dump off passes. I know their tight end, it was a quick 5-yard route that he ended up taking like 20 yards or something like that. But he struggled for most of the day, but did make up for some of it on his feet. AJ McCarron did look really good. 216 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Overall, I think, okay completion percentage, but he played really well, I thought. And a big name, this is a guy I thought was going to be good last year, but then kind of got hurt and underperformed, but came out like crazy. Marcel Aitman, 60 yards on 6 receptions and a touchdown. But the big thing, some of his catches were ridiculous. I mean, AJ McCarron kind of threw a prayer up to him at a 4th and long, and he snagged it on, I think he was in triple coverage almost. And he scored the game-winning touchdown it was a very good play, kind of a bad play by the cornerback, but he ran a great route and took a lot of body control then for him to stay inbounds, and it's pretty good. Defensively, Willie Harvey did pretty well. 2 tackles for a loss and 2 pass defenses. Really, that pass rush was getting to Michigan all day. They've got a really great pass rush, the Battlehawks do. But Michigan had, I think this is Puka Nakua's brother. Maybe I'm just wrong. I don't see Nakua last name often. But 11 tackles.
That's a good question.
Yeah. 11 tackles, a free safety, but also 2 tackles for a loss, one of them being a sack. Definitely big when you can have your free safety, is a rushing option as well. And, if he's a sure tackler, that as long as he's behind the guy, you can probably stop him. But the big story was, Jake Bates, a 64-yard game-winning field goal, which is just insane for a spring game. I mean, that's 2 off of the NFL record. And this guy, Jake Bates, in college, he was a kickoff specialist. So this is the first field goal he's attempted since high school. And he drills a 64-yarder, technically twice.
Wow. Twice?
Well, so, Battlehawks did the icing the kicker, but he kicked it after, they called the timeout, but he still kicked it and he drained it. And then after that again, he hits it. That's like, oh my goodness. It's brutal because go on.
I was gonna say a little bit more about him. You were right. He has a teammate, his brother, that plays with the Panthers. Puka Nacua plays for the Rams at the LA Rams. And then Ty Nacua will be playing in the fall at BYU. Oh. So, yeah. He is, So, but he was signed by the Browns, then the Ravens, then the Carolina Panthers, then the Colts, the 49ers, and then the Jets. So how many NFL teams do you feel like are kicking themselves in the butt right now?
Oh, yeah.
That they've got this kicker that they all like passed on basically at some point or another for, a 65-yard game-winning field goal to go in. Oh,
yeah. I mean, I guarantee you he's not going to be in the UFL next week. Or next year. They've talked about he might what is it? Apparently he's already got teams offering him contract or at least interest.
Oh, the Lions have already talked to him.
Yeah. Wow.
Certainly would be an improvement. So
and probably a little bit more money, I would think.
Oh yeah, definitely. So that's huge. This was fresh. I mean, it's hard to be mad about this when something crazy like that happens, but it kind of stinks because the Battlehawks, they could have just played a complete game. Their defense in the first half was insane. I mean, they got to the quarterback so often. 2 interceptions both came in the first half, but the offense got 3 points. In the second half, the offense, kind of started to look alive, but their defense let up. I mean, the run defense, I didn't put the running back on here, but he was gashing them left and right in the second half. They were letting off a lot of big runs. So it's kind of like if you took the defense of the first half and the offense of the second half, you would have had one hell of a team. But unfortunately, we didn't get them both at the same time. And yeah, just a crazy. I mean, I thought for sure I'm like, oh man, this is a 60+ yarder. Get the win in the bag. And we did not. So that was frustrating. But I'm happy about my team overall, but
it's only the first game, so
that's true.
They have plenty of time.
Yep. Moving on to another matchup, we got the Brahmas absolutely kicked DC's butt. I think the biggest margin, slightly bigger than the Stallions Renegades game. Big news in this. I didn't know this. Maybe I should have. But Abram Smith got hurt, and he is going to miss the entire season. He was a big running back. He had,
that's a big loss.
Yeah, I think he had like 700 yards in the XFL through 10 regular season games. That's pretty dang impressive. And a big weapon for him. So I think you can kind of tell. Jordan Tiamu, 45 passes, 235 passing yards, and 1 interception. Looks like they're asking him to do a lot right now.
Yeah.
Their kicker, all 12 of those points were field goals. Matthew McCrane, 4 for 4. So they got that going down for him, I guess. On the Brahma side, I didn't know this quarterback coming in. That's a new one. Their last quarterback was Jack Cohn, who got a NFL contract spot, even though he didn't look good in this league. But yeah, he was very efficient. Got a rushing touchdown, 2 passing touchdowns. Not a lot of passing yards, but a lot of completions. He's under Dadman's 10 yards per completion.
Yep, that's a big thing for me.
But John Trey Kirkland, he was a guy last year. He actually did pretty good for Houston, but he got injured early on. And he was go on.
Sorry, I'm still flummoxed at Jordan Ta'amu because folks that were around last year, this DC was a running team starting off the season, and now Ta'amu's throwing for 200+ yards. It's just still It just amazes me, though.
So apparently he's got the same offensive coordinator as last year. So they're kind of running things back, and maybe he's a little bit more comfortable. But as you can see, I mean, 45 attempts, especially in the clock moves kind of fast in the UFL. They adopted the XFL's clock rules.
Okay. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, that's kind of why you see a lot more low scoring games.
Yeah.
So 45 attempts, I mean, that's pretty wild. They were not running the ball much at all. And I think that shows. I think that's kind of silly because that's one of Tam's biggest strengths. But and I think it kind of neutralized. Yeah, you kind of knew by the end, okay, Tam was going to throw it because they're not going to run the ball. But yeah. No, JT Kirkland, he was hurt last year. He only played a few games for the Houston Roughnecks. But coming back healthy here, 8 catches, 61 yards. Did get a fumble, but also a touchdown. And Brad Wing, the punter, NFL vet. He did play in the NFL a bit this last season after injury call-up, but he's back here again. 3 punts, 2 were inside the 20, 153 yards. But the big thing is a 40-yard passing touchdown on his only attempt. They lined up in field goal position, and he took the snap, threw it to the center. The center got the 40-yard passing touchdown. And they were talking about it. Brad Wing had all day to throw. Like, I think they said this was pretty much his third. If you follow his head, this is his third read, and he made it to the center.
How is he eligible?
I guess he was not like the. I don't think he was the like long snapper. It was their normal center that they had like lined up in block formation.
Okay, that would make more sense then.
Yeah, but still, I mean, everyone loves the big man touchdown. But we got week 1. We've got a punter touchdown. They were lined up in a field goal. He was the holder and took the snap, but still, that's pretty awesome.
That's the kind of stuff I like to see in this type of football league, is the stuff that you're never, ever, ever going to see in an NFL game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're just never going to see that. If a center in the NFL can even run 40 yards, I mean, some of them you kind of wonder.
Yeah.
But that's so cool.
It was very cool and it's awesome to see. But you have that's how that game goes. Browns look very good. Then here you have Memphis Showboats and Houston Roughnecks. Now the Houston Roughnecks have the same roster as the Houston Gamblers, but they took the Roughnecks logo because it's cooler, I guess. I mean, it is. That is true. Showboats kind of squeaked one by here. Kind of an ugly game, in my opinion. Case Cookus is kind of one of the better quarterbacks in this league. I mean, he's no AJ McCarron, of course, but another 40 attempts for him, 204 passing yards, a touchdown and an interception. He could scramble a bit. One of the more interesting things was Darius Victor. Now, I did not watch a lot of USFL last year, if any. So my knowledge of, like, I guess, quote unquote, tape is pretty bad. I can only look at what the stats were last year. Darius Victor was one of the better running backs last year. But look, 10 rushes. He had 3 yards and a fumble. I mean, that's awful. And the fact that they kept going to him, even gave him a chance to get 10 rushing yards if he's averaging, a foot a carry, basically.
Yeah. That's got to be frustrating for him, too.
Oh, yeah. And
to get the ball that many times, and just every time, you're just getting banged up in the pocket there. Like, you're getting no penetration through the defensive line, no progress. You're probably pushing as hard as you can, and just a brick wall every time.
Yeah, and I don't know if like I said, I didn't watch this game a ton. But I don't know if it was he's, picking bad holes or the offensive line is just letting everyone through, but not a good day for him. And also not a good day for their kicker going 2 for 4. Both those misses.
We got Guantanamo Bay showing up again for Houston. I'm sorry, that's the old Tennessee quarterback. I just Jared Garantano. That's his percentage wise look good, but he
and say 21 passing attempts. You can see how much they trusted him. I guess he did get a rushing touchdown, but also a fumble. The defense was really, Houston's defense story of the game. Toby Johnson did pretty good defensive tackle, and Reuben Foster got an interception. Overall, this game seemed to be kind of the more boring game of the couple here.
Yep.
So, but
usually if Guantanamo Bay is involved, it's usually a boring game offensively for your team. So, no more Rocky Top. So.
Yeah, there we go. You've been freed.
Yay. All right.
But that's all for the recaps here.
All right.
We
cool.
Get into the standings.
All right.
What was it? I lost my train of thought already. Oops. Oh, but yeah, just if you can see the USFL conference did do better. 3-1 over. They the 2 games they played against the XFL conference, they won. So props to them.
So the Brahmas are undefeated, yet they still have the lack of offense down in San Antonio.
No, the Brahmas offense did pretty good. They scored 27 points, which was tied.
I'm sorry, I got confused.
Score for the week.
You know what? I messed up. I got my bad. I got that Memphis Showboats. I saw the 18-12. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's that. Yeah, thanks for the correction on that.
No, that's true. The Memphis. They are number 1.
I got confused by the yellow.
Yeah, they are number 1 since they've got the divisional win. I think that's what matters for the playoffs. They go division first, and then tiebreaker goes to the overall record. But what is it? Oh,
I tell you, Dadman, the one I mess up here is the horses right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a similar kind of color scheme to the Panthers, but then it also kind of looks like Western Michigan, which I'm used to seeing the Broncos. So I keep putting those together, and then I'm looking at it going, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
That's not the Panthers. Anyway.
But no, you really get to the Stallions. Now I want to call them the Broncos. The Stallions looked really good. The Brahmas looked really good. And other teams would be at the Michigan kind of got bailed out. A huge kick.
It was designed. That was totally it was.
I'm sure
they've said set of plays.
I'm sure that's how they drew it up. Like, this is exactly where we want to not anywhere closer.
Of course.
The Showboats, they do have the win, but didn't look very good. And to be fair, the Roughnecks didn't look good either. So maybe it was just a great defensive performance. But DC looks like they have a lot of things to work out. The Renegades, they played one good half of football, but not a great second half. Battlehawks, they definitely got the flashes, but they've got to put it all together. We'll see. But, not a ton you can tell from just the 1 week standings. Everything can change very easily. We've got going to week 2 preview for the Saturday games. Not a ton. We can kind of speed through these just because I don't know how much you can draw from 1 week of stats. Yeah, Chase Garbers, 76% completion percentage, only 158 passing yards, though, but did have 3 total touchdowns. So he's looking pretty good. I don't know. Do you know anything about – I don't know where Chase Garbers played before this. I don't know if you know what college he was at.
No, not offhand. I'll see if I can find –
And then you had Anthony McFarland here, former not Patriots, Steelers running back.
He played at Cal. Chase Garbers played at Cal.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have Anthony McFarland. Didn't get a ton of usage, but when he did,
I
he
keep
was
hearing
looking
Todd
really good.
McFarlane, I guess. So
Not Todd McFarland.
I keep hearing Seth MacFarlane. So you're doing better than I am.
yeah, Seth MacFarlane. Yeah.
But he looks pretty good, and I'm interesting to see if they'll get him involved more. I wonder if the Brahmas just had not a lot of time on offense, just because they looked good, but they didn't have a lot of total yards, and not a ton of even plays. So I wonder if they just had really good field position to start off, and that would do it. Jordan Williams was a really good linebacker last year in the XFL, and he had 10 tackles in his first game. And you go down to the showboats. Case Cookus did not have a great completion percentage. Did have a turnover, but he's kind of more battle tested, I guess you could say. He was a kind of a consensus top 3 quarterback. There's a lot of quarterback uncertainty going into this year, but he was kind of one of the constants people predicted. Dawood Davis had 7 catches. Kind of a constant there, and you have Anthony's brother Christian at safety. I don't think they're brothers. I just made that up. He got a fumble return for a touchdown last week, which probably was the difference there, since their offense couldn't do anything. But when you get to the kind of the key factors for the game, Brahma's defense was good, allowed 0 touchdowns, put the Brahmas in good field position most of the time. So if they can do it again, and it's hard to really take away anything from one game, Brahmas, kicked butt against who did they play?
A team that hasn't won a game all season.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, they looked really good. But it could just be that team is the worst team in the league, and they make everyone look good. We don't know. Big thing for the Showboats is going to be their rushing game. Yeah, they had 34 total rushing yards last week. But again, you can see, Case Cook has had 16, Dawood Davis had 15, so that leaves 3 total rushing yards that came from running backs, which, in case you're wondering at home, folks, that's really bad. That's kind of their main job, and they got 3 whole yards. So needless to say, they can't have that happen again and expect to win, I don't think. So
I'm looking to the Showboats.
Oh, I was feeling the Brahmas, but we'll see. Both of them are first in their division because they're the only teams
in their conference, even
in their conference. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are the only ones with any record in their conference. But hey,
yeah, that they are.
Then we get to Battlehawks home opener. I'll be there. It's gonna be late, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, wow!
That's definitely the latest one for.
Wow.
So this time when I drink, it'll be reasonable that I drink. Anyway.
So where do they play at? The Battlehawks?
They play at the Dome.
Do they really? Cool.
The formerly known as Edward Jones Dome.
I have no idea. I live down here in Southwest Missouri.
Yeah.
No, I was curious because, I just started following this stuff and I was like, I didn't know how many teams there were, or, I knew St. Louis had a team, but meh. It just doesn't seem like it's as well known as, the NFL.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely not as well known. Battlehawks fans go pretty crazy up here, but we'll see if that sticks up this year. Yeah, big thing. Luis Perez and agent. Oh.
What are ticket prices like around the league?
They're pretty cheap, but I don't know what they are for the Battlehawks. Well, Battlehawks I think are pretty cheap just because they have the 400 level open. So if you want to go, you can get cheap tickets. I know the Showboats had a big promo that was $10 tickets.
Looks like single tickets in the 400 level are about $18.
Holy
Much
cow.
the whole way
Wow.
around. Yeah.
So if you want a good seat, you might have to pony up a bit more. My season tickets are really good seats, and it's what's that? It's 290 for 5 games, so that's a little bit. I mean, that's still a pretty good deal. But if you just want to see a game, catch a game in the nosebleeds, pretty much the price of a beer and a hot dog at a baseball game. So.
You can go. Looks like upwards north around 300, but you're talking, the 100 level,
pretty much.
Yeah, 400 or 40-yard line rather. That type of stuff. So.
Yep.
And Venus Sparkle says the old man is going to drink all the beer.
Yes.
I probably won't drink as much because I'll have to drive home.
Exactly.
That's the secret. Is always just drink at the bars before the game, before you have to go pay, an arm and a leg. Yeah, you've got
not like drinking at the bar is cheap, but hey,
you got to find the right bar.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I think I like your logo for the Battlehawks far and away better. It kind of the only improvement I would make is maybe putting a wheel instead of a sword in there.
Oh no!
And you get yourself a winged wheel. But
you can't do that. I don't know. That would be a terrible idea. I think.
But no, it does look legitimately badass. So
yes, it's a good logo. But we got Luis Perez and AJ McCarron. Luis Perez, a spring legend. AJ McCarron, a St. Louis hero. Darius Shepard, reigning XFL Special Teams Player of the Year. He took all the punt returns, took all the kickoffs, and got 5 catches. So he's still as versatile as ever. Travis Feeney. Our edge rush is great. We have great edge rushers. Thank goodness. Excuse me. Letty Brown is kind of the backup running back for the Renegades, but if you remember what I was mentioning, Renegades starting running back kind of didn't do great. Letty Brown did fairly decent here. So maybe he's going to take over as he did lead the team in rushing yards, but didn't lead the team in rushes. Maybe he's going to take over from here on out. Renegades didn't really have a top receiving option. They kind of passed the ball around a lot. Deontay Burnett got the most receptions. Keys to the game, Renegades need to find their defensive strive. They have a lot of valuable pieces they returned from last year. A lot of familiar faces, but again, Birmingham Stallions kind of walked all over them, or trotted all over them, if you will. I say, don't everyone applaud at once, but so
we'll see if they joke for ESPN. I'll give you that.
That's true. I mean, that's a low bar, but so they need to probably don't want to have 27 points allowed again. Battlehawks, big thing. Play a complete game. Like I said, defense really showed up in the first half. Offense showed up in the second half, but they couldn't get them both running together. If they can play, if the defense plays like they did in the first half and the offense plays like they did in the second half for a full game, I mean, I think that would be a massacre. If they can do it, I'll be really excited for the season. So that's all we have for them. And hello to Mrs. Dadman.
Hey, she's here. Hello,
hello.
Mrs. Hello. Sneaks in here. Yes, Mrs. How are you doing? Good to see you here tonight. Good to see 6 people that are still with us tonight. Thank you. 2 on Twitch, 4 on YouTube. Still share it out. We still have a little bit of time left that we're going into. So where did we go from here next? I'd still love Matt Corral in this game.
Yeah. He kind of got the he didn't get the start. Or no, he did get the start, but he got benched a bit and then came back, I think. Not a great completion percentage, but he had over 200 yards, touchdown. Did have an interception, but he did have some 25 rushing yards. I had him as my key to the game just because he had some points where you're like, ooh, not looking good, but he also had some big time throws. Pretty recent third round draft pick. So he's got some interesting. It'll be interesting to see him. I'm assuming he gets to start this week because the other guy who played really did not look good. You got a linebacker whose name I'm not even going to try to say. He did pretty good. 6 tackles and a lot of pressures. And also had a cornerback who got an interception, a pass defense, and a fumble recovery. So doing work on there. For the Panthers, they got EJ Perry needs to be better, at least passing the ball. He did fine on the ground. Definitely a threat in the red zone, but he's got to, you're not going to win a lot of games if you go 50%.
You have to get there first.
Right, yeah. That's the important thing. We already talked about Kai Nakua. Wes Hills, 85 rushing yards on just 11 rushes. That's huge. He had a lot of big runs there. He was gashing the Battlehawks defense a lot there. So he's going to be big in this game. They key factor for them. They've got to. You don't want to be in a situation like you were last week. They did win, but barely. So hopefully they can kind of put some distance on them, or they didn't have any points in the first half, so they're going to want to not do that again. But they've got a lot of good pieces, especially this run game looks really good, and defensively they've got a lot of good players, so we'll see how that goes for them.
In last year, they lost to the Stallions in game 6. And I believe that was the only time they played. So we have not gotten a lot of good, previous film between these two teams.
Yeah. Especially with a lot of games. Not a lot of games, a lot of differences between the two teams since last year.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think EJ Perry is University of Miami, I believe, right?
I think so. I think that's right.
Yeah, I think he was one of their rotating numbers of quarterbacks. 50% sounds about right. 2 interceptions, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. Now, what? Let's see. Then this is our last preview game.
We have one more.
We have one. Well, when we hit the last game, I want to talk about what are some of the rule changes this year.
Sorry, yeah, but EJ Perry went to Boston College.
What? Boston College. Okay.
And then Brown. Brown.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, so he was an Ivy League.
Okay.
Anyway.
Awesome.
That might be a different Perry you're thinking of.
There was a different Perry down there. Yeah, there was a different Perry down there. I thought it was an EJ, but okay, cool. But yeah, okay. Well, if we're ready, let's move on to the last game. Then let's talk about briefly about some of the big rule changes, because we, to remind people of the difference of the rules, because USFL and UFL or XFL had different rules last year. Mm-hmm. So, okay.
So week 2 here, Houston versus DC, 2 teams that looked pretty bad last week. Kirk Merritt is running back. He didn't run very often, but he had 4 catches for 33 yards, and Houston needs someone who's going to step up. Reuben Foster and Toby Johnson, kind of already talked about them. They did a good job. Hopefully they can keep it up for the Roughnecks. DC, kind of the same thing. Yeah, we already talked about Teamu, kind of a rough game for him. 2 turnovers, but he did have a lot of receiving yards and got a lot of action. We'll see how he can bounce back in this game at home. Ty Scott was his number 1 guy, 87 receiving yards on 4 catches. It's kind of the DC has pretty much an entirely new receiver core. So interesting to see who will be Teamu's kind of favorite. We also have Malik Fisher, 7 tackles as a defensive end, 2 tackles, a sack, and a pass defense. They must have been batted something down at the line, so he had a great game. More for big things, key factors. Houston had 200 total yards on offense last week, which is bad in case you're tracking at home. Going to need a lot more than that. And kind of what we touched on a bit, earlier, but with Abram Smith out for the season, defenders need someone else to step up in the running game. You cannot ask Jordan Ta'amu to take the whole load. It's probably not going to, if you pretty much know that the team's going to pass every down, it's not going to go well for you. You need someone who can step up and give you those short yardage plays, and we don't know who that is yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know if they will have anyone yet. So
they might sign somebody. I mean, you never know.
That's true. They could sign someone. Still plenty of time for that. But that's all for these previews. There's a couple more UFL things, but that's the big stuff. So, Dadman, if you wanted to talk about
my screen just went blank. Hold on, it just popped up. Okay, yeah. What are some of the rules that we have this year that are in the combined league that are maybe unique for people, compared to the NFL and like the arena leagues?
So we have on extra points there is no kick. If a 1-pointer goes from the 2-yard line, 2-pointer from the 5-yard line, 3-pointer from the 10-yard line, you get 1 play to score, and if you do score, you get whatever point you came from there. That's pulled from the XFL. They do have like the onside kick, like they talked about last time. Just instead of an actual kick, you get a 4th and 12, I think. And if you convert on the 4th and 12, then you get to keep going. If not, well, then the defense gets it right back where you guys were.
Mm-hmm.
They adopted the USFL kickoff, which is a normal NFL kickoff, but I think from the 25-yard line, so a lot farther out. You're actually going to get returns, not like the NFL where everything's a touchback.
Yeah.
And they did adopt the USFL. So XFL had the college rules of 1 foot in to catch. USFL had 2 feet, and UFL has the 2 feet rule. 2 feet in to get a catch. Only other big thing is, UFL has kind of the XFL running clock. There's a lot of game is very fast paced. Everything's running until you get to the final 2 minutes of a half, where it stops for first downs and all that. Other than that, I think everything it's very fast paced, which is I like it because you don't get as much downtime. Every possession matters a little bit more, but I do wish they were more consistent with it. I don't like. Sometimes it bothers me that they're like, "Oh, this is the rules until you're within 2 minutes, then we change it to make it easier for the offense." But yeah,
okay.
I mean, those are the big rules. I don't think there's anything new that wasn't introduced last year, but just kind of how they combine things.
All right. Well, folks, we have the combined XFL, USFL now, and we are now entering week 2. So, Woopah, we're in about the last 10 minutes. We have a number of little topics to come up with. Where are we standing on next? Where are we going with your wonderful graphic presentations?
I had 2 quick things about the UFL still.
How are
the ratings?
So surprise. All right, cool.
Yeah. So we had this Birmingham had 1.1 million, Battlehawks and Panthers 1.349. Those are both on Fox. And then Defenders and Brahmas was 960K. Showboats and Roughnecks was 703K. Overall, how this goes kind of really depends on how you look at it. For a debut of a league or a spring league, this is the worst pretty much. It's lower than the XFL started last year, lower than the USFL started in 2022, lower than the AAF. That being said, I guess it's kind of like this isn't a traditional league debut because all of these teams played last year, even though it wasn't the UFL, they still played. So maybe you're not going to see as drastic of a drop off. As far as like just last year, like USFL really did not do this good last year at all, even in week 1. So they're doing better than that. It's kind of interesting. You'd also had, the last 2 games on ESPN were on Easter. And some of these games were going up against March Madness. So it's kind of hard. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping there's not as big of a drop-off since it's kind of established teams, and they had a lot of competition. But if they can stay close to this, the XFL and USFL were kind of averaging around 600K viewers a week by the end of it. So if they can stay above that, I'd still be pretty good, but we'll see. They have the big TV contracts, at least. A lot of games on Fox and ABC. So, but yeah, that was pretty much. I just want to go through over that. It's always interesting to see.
How do these numbers look in relation to like the USFL numbers or the XFL numbers? Do we have any comparisons? Now, the one thing I noticed are huge networks, Fox and ESPN, versus last year there was like Peacock, some Oprah networks. It was like where you could find the XFL were on some really ridiculous networks that I'd never heard of.
Yeah, no, this is so for like a debut, because this is technically the UFL debut. It's definitely the lowest like debut week. Like XFL 2023, USFL 2022, XFL 2020, and AAF 2019 all did better. But I don't know, this isn't really a traditional launch of a league since it was a merger of all teams that were already playing. As far as like average ratings for last year, I don't have them with me, but from what I saw, it was kind of the average viewership for XFL and USFL were like 600,000 a game. So all of these clear that. I don't think the USFL had a game that went over 1 million last year, if I remember correctly. So they're doing better than that. But we'll see how it's maintained. I don't know how it'll be maintained.
Mm-hmm.
And so
it's interesting looking at the Fox numbers on Saturday. Is there any way to compare them like to sports in a similar time slots, like college football numbers or Major League Baseball?
I could. I don't have that on hand.
Well, that's something we could look in future. Look to see how that it compares to the prior years. Look how it compares to other sports on similar time frames. I'd just be curious to see how that goes. But love the graphics, love the breakdown about the ratings. Mm-hmm. That's another overlooked statistic in sports. Like people say, sports can't be geeky or nerdy. Well, look, hold my beer. Woopah Troopah will show you. So,
yeah, this is big just because spring football. The problem has always really been if it can stay around, and the ratings are going to be big for that. We have one more thing, some interesting UFL news that I saw. Mm-hmm. This is another tweet. USFL Enterprises LLC filed 2 new team name trademarks for the Canton Bulldogs and the Nashville Tuners. I don't know if this is like a relocation plan or expansion team, but that's interesting that they're already filing like team name trademarks. Also interesting that the NFL doesn't have Canton Bulldogs trademarked. You'd think they would. Literally the NFL's first champion. But
it must be available,
Yeah, apparently it's available. Interesting as well with this one is, if you remember the USFL, like the hub model, one of their hubs was the Canton Stadium, the NFL's like Hall of Fame stadium, which, by the way, beautiful stadium, and also right behind a high school. There's a high school place there, games there, which is that's got to be the coolest thing if you can play your stadium there. So there's already some connections here that the USFL could use to like get that as a home team. I don't know anything about their Nashville, but that's pretty cool. I just have these that this is their official things. If they have the Canton Bulldogs, honestly, I'm already a Battlehawks fan. I'm never gonna sway from that, but that would be so cool. I would be big on that, and looks like they already have Nashville Tuners. That's a really dumb team name. I don't understand.
That's interesting.
What the hell is a tuner?
Yeah.
Sounds like you're
I
saying.
don't know what's worse, the tuners or the lunkers.
Yeah.
The lunkers.
There you
Oh
go.
gosh,
That's what Springfield's team's name is, the lunkers.
I thought it was the isotopes, but hey,
Wrong Springfield.
How does Woopah hold a beer if he doesn't have any hands? And hey, Wade, good to see you, Wade. Hey, welcome in.
Just gotta use my feet. But yeah, no, it's really cool. Interesting that, obviously they downsized to 8 teams, which I think was probably the right choice, but maybe they're already looking at, hey, maybe we expand next year. Nashville is interesting. Canton, kind of like I said, they already have the connections there. They got the Hall of Fame. They got a big stadium. Not a big stadium. They got about 25,000, 26,000. Would be nice to sell out, and they already have kind of a connection there. So I think that would be cool. And yeah, getting 10 teams instead of 8, I think that would be overall good for the league, assuming it can stick around. So
that'd be cool.
This is just an interesting thing. Maybe they're already looking at relocation, or maybe they're looking at expansion. It's not guaranteed. We're just noticing stuff.
All right. Well, that's what we have for the USFL talk. I'm looking at my schedule and everything. Any other thoughts, guys? Woopah, great job on all the graphics presentations tonight. Do you have anything else?
Yes, nice job.
Did you have anything else on any of those sports design tonight that we need to run through real quickly? Or
I mean, I have other things. We can run through it quick if you want. And they'll be This is pretty much.
Yes.
I don't have anything for standings because it's
Yeah, basically the Cubs are next to last. The Cardinals are last, so we're both condemned. And Cubs have a sucky roster.
We're starting out at an even level.
Yeah,
well, and the Tigers are tied for first.
Yeah,
wow, undefeated 4-0. Woo!
Yeah,
we just got
one of only 4 teams. Yeah,
because that's really always Tyler O'Neill homered in his 5th consecutive opening day, which is a record.
Wow,
he's really good at opening day. And he gets hurt about 10 games in. That's usually how it goes. But the Rangers' Wyatt Langford, he's a 4th overall pick in last draft, which he's already reached base twice. He got a hit and a walk, I think, or maybe just 2 walks. But yeah, he was just drafted this last June, already in the show, already reaching base. Pretty big for him. Pretty big for the Rangers too. Yeah, Cardinals. Victor Scott II steals 2nd in his opening day debut. Big fan of him. Diamondbacks had 14 runs in the 3rd inning against the Rockies. Unsurprisingly, they won that one.
Wow.
Pretty big one from them.
Wow.
Corbin Burns recently traded from Milwaukee to the Orioles. Has pretty much the greatest opening day start since Bob Gibson. The last time, 11 strikeouts and 1 hit, no walks. The 1 hit was a home run, but last time opening day starter had double-digit strikeouts and only 1 runner on was Bob Gibson. So very, very good debut, Orioles debut for him. Kind of a sad story. Royce Lewis, he's had a lot of injuries in the last 3 seasons. And he was legging it out to 3rd and pulled up kind of short.
Yeah.
Looks like
it's amazing how some players do that. It's like injury prone no matter what.
Yeah, and his big issues were leg issues, so this is kind of concerning for him. Very sad, but looks like he could be missing time. Here, Mike Trout hits a home run in his first at bat, and Angels lose because it's the Angels. I mean, they always do that.
All right. Hey, pitchers still hit for themselves?
But
in the American League?
Well, no, this is Mike Trout, not that time. But
Mike Trout, that's pitcher, right? Or am I confusing a
No, that's Ohtani's the pitcher. Mike Trout is just an outfielder.
Okay, sorry.
And he's been great.
That's right.
On a tear to start this
That's
season.
how far I've been out of baseball, Woopah. So.
Yeah. But Angels, that's how they do. They have these great generational talents and then surround them with crap pretty much. There they go. They still lose. Frankie Montas missed almost all of 2023 with an injury. Starts the opening day start for the Reds and goes 6 scoreless. So that's a pretty nice story. That's all for. Minor other news. Jackson Holiday, Matt Holiday's son, top number 1 prospect. He got sent down by the Orioles because supposedly he was struggling against lefties, but literally opening AAA home opener, hits a home run off of a lefty. Most likely they wanted to manipulate that service time, but this just makes it funnier because their whole thing was, well, we want him to do better against lefties, and from the jump in AAA, he's already crushing them. So I feel like he'll be called up. He's definitely going to make it at some point this season. Bench is clear. There's a big Jeff McNeil Rhys Hoskins slid into Jeff McNeil. McNeil took exception to it. There was a benches clearing brawl. It's kind of a lame benches clearing brawl. And also people brought up McNeil has slid into people before, so him getting mad about this is kind of funny. But
to me that's one of the problems with what sports have become. What was the rule growing up with baseball? Was you go into second, and I had an umpire once tell me, well, you get out of the way next time, And it's like, you got to get off that bag and clear it yourself. Now, when they go 3 feet out of that's why I had the rules about going out of the baseline. But if you're standing near that bag, you should, it's a fair slide. It truly is. And the thing about crushing catchers at home plate, I'm sorry, I hate the rules. I don't care. Say the game is you knock the hell out of the guy to free the ball so you're safe if they're standing in front of the base. But then again, as a catcher, your job was to block the plate. But you had to expect to get hit, though.
And now you can't, if you'll block the plate, you'll get in trouble. And there's been a lot of calls like that already it's a very confusing rule.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of fights, Genesis Cabrera, former Cardinal, suspended 3 games after provoking a benches clearing brawl. This one was a more interesting brawl, but it was weird. I don't understand. There was I think Jeff McNeil is kind of silly to be mad, but you could say, hell yeah, there was a late slide. Cabrera, I don't even know what he was mad about. He bumped into the guy a bit, and the guy was like, hey, what are you doing bumping into me? I'm out. The play's over. No need for this. And then Cabrera just pushed him, and it's I don't understand. It was very confusing. But he got suspended 3 games for that. Because I guess MLB was like, what are you even mad about? So 2 benches clearing brawls in the first week of baseball. How about that? And the last thing, this is more about the craziness for the MLB jersey scandal. Cardinals have a Victory Blue alternate jersey. I think they wear on the road on Saturdays. I love them. They're great. They're still not available. They should have worn them already. And Fanatics has not made them. Probably won't be ready until June, apparently. Which is insane for professional. This is professional baseball.
Right.
They can't figure out the jerseys. It's kind of funny.
That far away, that's crazy.
Right, yeah. By halfway through the season, that's when they might be ready. I'm sure there'll be some setbacks because there always is.
So why are the guys on the field without any shirts on? Oh, they didn't get their jerseys.
The only other quick thing I had here is what teams still are undefeated and what teams are still very defeated. And we have the JT's Detroit Tigers.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Go Tigers.
Yankees, and these are the kind of surprising ones. Well, I guess the Detroit Tigers are kind of surprising too. But
yes.
Pirates are 5-0. Brewers are 4-0, I think. I did not expect that. They have lost so many people this year. And then the winless teams, this is much less surprising. The White Sox, bad. The Mets are the Mets. All that money and they still can't win a dang game. And then the Miami Marlins are having a big drop off this year so far. They were kind of decent. Marlins are usually bad, but they were kind of decent last year. I think made the playoffs. And now they're back at the bottom. So short-lived there. That's all we have for the MLB.
And the Tigers have won 100% on the road.
I had
So
one thing related to baseball.
Yeah.
So the A's are moving to Las Vegas, and today they started evicting everybody from the Tropicana so that they can demolish it in October to build the stadium.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are people
Good
there
evicting.
who have lived there on and off for at least 40 years that they're kicking out.
Oh man.
Mhm.
What is the Tropicana?
It's a hotel casino.
It's a hotel that appeared. It's appeared in a James Bond. I forgot which one. James Bond movie.
Welcome to Las Vegas. Welcome to welcome to the Tropicana, where winners play and players win. God, that stuck in my head from their elevator from 98, 96. It's like, but yeah, it's sad. We stayed there once. We had a view of the strip, the airstrip, but we were okay with that. We didn't really care. Yeah. We were away from the family, so it was all good.
Oh, it's an iconic spot. I feel bad for the A's and
see, how long have they been in
well, they've been in Oakland.
Have they been there in Oakland the whole time?
Not the whole time, but
they've been around
probably like 4 decades at least.
But before that, they were Philadelphia, weren't they? Philadelphia,
the Philadelphia Athletics.
Wow.
But I don't think. I mean, yeah, they've been in Oakland for such a long time, and their ownership's been so terrible.
Yeah, I wish Buddy Hepburn was here to talk about it because he's got a lot to say. I mean, yeah. You had the thing out there with the fans that want to keep them there, and there's always the accusation that they weren't working fairly with the Oakland.
Oh,
they were planning to move it no matter what.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
and they didn't really have a stadium deal. They just kind of said we're moving, and it's like the funding issues are still having to be worked or were as of last year about how much taxpayer support they were going to get in the state of Las Vegas. So the state of Nevada.
That was a big deal, and there may be a developing story we'll talk about next week about the A's, but I'll leave it for there. Okay. It's going to be a funny one.
Well, we shall do that. We also talk about conference football expansion next week, probably. There are more talk about the possible destruction of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Yeah, exactly. Rumbling, we know Clemson's got the conference in court, and there's rumblings with FSU and maybe North Carolina, which could then force renegotiation of their television contract. But all that remains to be seen. So,
we can have that. I mean, we can talk about it now, or we can have that more in depth next week.
We'll have more. Let's take since we're late after 2 hours. Let's go ahead and we'll talk about it more next week because it is an issue that goes up and through June 30th. Apparently, is the big deadline. So we've got time. Okay. We'll see what happens and see how all this plays out. Woopah, anything else that you got? Hey,
yeah, we just got some.
Wait, New Jersey's actually okay.
They're still in it. They're not. They're not in the playoffs, but they're still in the hunt. This is
not many games left.
Yeah,
there's not that many games left, but there's still time. There's still 8. That's why don't have anything too big right now because playoff picture is not really closing up yet. But you got Bruins and Panthers already clinched a spot. Rangers and Hurricanes already clinched a spot. You got this race for the 3rd Metropolitan spot. It's a battle of what's they called. You heard the Battle of Midway. This is the Battle of Mid. None of these teams are. There's Rangers and Hurricanes very good. Everyone else in this division kind of sucks. So we're fighting. As I mean, hey, well, I got my guys down here too, and they're still struggling. It's a battle of who wants to lose this spot more, basically. Mm-hmm. Everyone's still pretty much in this. Only the Blue Jackets are eliminated. So we'll see how this goes. Still a lot of hockey. This last spot I think is going to be the biggest one. The last Metro spot and the last wild card spot. Everything else already pretty much spoken for. Like even though the Leafs and the Lightning haven't clinched a spot, it would take a monumental collapse for them to lose it now. And that's the East, pretty much. The race
Watch
there.
the Leafs fail out, though.
Oh, because they have to get ready for their annual first round defeat.
Oh, well, true.
The Western Conference. This is much more shaped out. We got 4 teams eliminated. Gosh, a lot of these teams are terrible.
Well, that's good because Chicago. Never mind. This is a family show.
I feel like I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Dallas Stars, the Colorado Avalanche, and Vancouver Canucks are actually first in the Pacific right now. Pretty interesting. This is kind of the difference. Western Conference has a lot of bad teams, but Eastern Conference, they don't have like the wild card race as much. They have a lot of good teams and not, 70 point teams still fighting. If you had 70 points in the West, you're out of it.
Mm-hmm.
The Blues are trying to make a push here in the playoffs, but the Predators are red hot. Kings have been doing pretty
If
good.
they can knock either one of those teams out, please.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about warm weather hockey teams.
You're a big fan?
No.
But,
wouldn't that give SciFi Mombie something to cheer for here?
Yeah.
Yay!
They won last week, so they
Please
might.
and thank you.
They might be going for it.
I mean, I was cheering them on how long ago when they won the Stanley Cup?
Well, 2019, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that long ago? No.
Yep.
All right.
So we'll see how that goes. It is an interesting race here. Interesting race for the East as well, but kind of a less. Red Wings are tied with the Capitals right now for JT, but the Capitals do have the tiebreaker.
Oh, of course, because they lost to them recently.
Yeah,
if I remember right.
That should be this 3-way race. Flyers, Capitals, Red Wings could be interesting. I hope the Flyers lose because I hate them. But and then kind of mostly the battle seems to be Kings and Blues. Predators are just red hot, and Vegas has kind of rebounded from their dry spell recently. That's the playoff picture. We'll have more of that, talk about that next week when it's a lot more fleshed out, kind of. We can make more sense of it. Right now, it's kind of just in general, who's who. Other than that,
yay!
A few quick things. We have soccer.
Well, we just have to. We have so much that's out there in the world of sports. We just got March Madness. Unfortunately, has taken up so much time with the end of the college basketball season. But hey, we have time.
Yeah.
Paris Saint-Germain. We need Bucky around to listen to my French pronunciation. And Borussia Dortmund.
Borussia Dortmund or something like that. But yeah, this is kicking off next week.
Oui, Wade. Paris Saint-Germain. Anyway, sorry, I'll stop. Real Madrid. Okay, how about that?
The quarterfinals are kicking off on this.
Wait a second. Atletico Madrid. Yeah, the emphasis on the E. Sorry, but yeah. All right.
Interesting thing about all these guys in the quarterfinals right now, I think only 2 of them. Yeah, only 2 of them are leading. Oh, maybe Paris Saint-Germain. I'll let Dadman do the pronunciation there. Or Real Madrid. They're the only teams that are in first place in their domestic leagues.
FC Bayern Munich is second.
Oh yeah, no,
but they're like 4 games back in overall wins.
Which is a shock for Bayern has it locked down by now. And all these teams
called it. He thought Leverkusen was going to run away with it, and he was kind of right. So
there's a lot of good. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of good teams here. Like all these teams, it's not like anyone's losing. I think everyone's top 4.
Now, how do you watch them in America, in the U.S.? Is there a way to watch these teams play?
That's a good question.
You get quite a few games on NBC.
Yeah.
I know. what's the some spacing out? I can't remember the streaming service.
Peacock.
It's not Peacock. I don't think it's the one Paramount Plus. They have that. They have soccer. That's pretty much all I know that they have.
Okay.
I know, Bayern Munich has Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Didn't I see something?
Arsenal and Bayern Munich are Paramount Plus. Sorry. Go ahead.
Didn't I see something being on Amazon? Or is that a different league altogether?
I think Amazon has it. I think it might be a different league.
I thought it was like a split between like all three of them or something.
Soccer can get confusing since each league has their own.
Right.
The rights get confusing quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal is owned by Stan Kroenke, so they're the worst team.
That Paris Saint-Germain, or however you say it, versus Barcelona, Paramount Plus as well.
There you go.
So this might all be on PP Plus, as I like to call it, or Poop Mountain Plus. I've got a thing with them in Star Trek, folks. So
yes,
that's okay.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I agree with you, JT. We are on the same page about that one.
Looks like these are all on that Paramount streaming network.
Yeah. All right. Well, folks, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Woopah Troopah, great work today on all these graphics. Go back and watch his stuff. And actually, Woopah. No, let's go. I'm sorry, I didn't know what we had left, but Woopah had a couple other things. Let's run through these two really, really quickly since we've got a couple minutes. Okay, if you got them, bring it back.
Yeah,
but we're just going to blow through these. We're going to blow through these really, really quickly, though. But, hey, we've got the Frozen Four here. Now, we talked about this a little bit last week. Boston College, Michigan, Boston University, and Denver. Not Duquesne's, but Denver.
Not the
city has they also have a women's gymnastics team. Make up your Final Four. We got, hey, how about an all Boston Final Four here? A final matchup, championship game. How about that?
Could happen. JT Spartans let them down sadly this weekend.
Against
the evil empire.
Yeah. I'm gonna go on mute for a minute.
Oh gosh,
this is interesting. I was looking at these teams because I don't follow college hockey that closely. But
have a good night, Vina. Have a good night. Yeah.
Boston University, not usually a team you see here, but they have the pretty much guaranteed number one overall pick, Macklin Calabrini, on their team. He's, as a youngest player in college hockey, he's second in scoring. He's killing it.
That's pretty cool.
They also have Lane Hudson, who big prospect for the Canadians. Michigan and Denver, I don't know as much about them. No. Boston College, though, we could get all. Boston College has like 4 of the top 6 scorers in the NHL or in the NCAA.
Yep. Number 1 seed overall, though. So I mean, you would expect 1 and 2. So Michigan wasn't even a seed. They upset Michigan State, who was a 4 seed. So
they were technically so college hockey. They just ranked the top 4, and they kind of go from there. Okay. Michigan, I think, was technically like a 3 seed, and they ended up making it out here. Boston College has a lot of Denver, I think, has Aziv Weem, who's like a big prospect. Michigan just has a lot of players that I kind of know, but no one like huge. A lot of like late first round picks. Boston College has a ton of people. They've got Will Smith. Not that Will Smith. Yeah. But he was a 4th overall pick last season. Cutter Gauthier made some news. He was a top 5 pick a couple of drafts ago. They've got a ton of big names on that team. I wouldn't be surprised if they won at all. But we'll see with them.
All right. Well, that's our Frozen Four. We'll see the matchups. We'll see who wins this one overall. So now we have some NIT action that's coming up.
Yes. I just put this in. We haven't really.
The Georgia Bulldogs are the Final Four. Yeah. Yay.
We haven't really covered it just because
Yep.
NIT was weird this year. No one wanted to show up, apparently.
So Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, but what is it? So these are the two teams that we got, or the four teams that we got. If you guys know how the NIT works, I know you guys do, the audience. They kind of do similar to, Frozen Four only ranks the first four. NIT ranks 4 for each region, I guess, and then the other ones are unranked. So everyone made it ranked. The interesting thing here is pretty much the top two teams here, the number one seed, Indiana State Sycamores and the Seton Hall Buccaneers. I don't know who they are. They were both kind of number one seeds and kind of controversial guys that were left out of the tournament. And here they are in the Final Four. They were kind of the big ones, along with Oklahoma, who I'm glad they didn't get in, and St. John's. I think St. John's lost to Seton Hall, actually. So those were very big snubs. And so far, they've been proven that they probably should have gotten in, especially after we saw what Virginia did. So they've been big. And Utah, the Utes, they've been doing good. Pac-12 in their last year has done great in basketball in the tournaments this year. Didn't have anyone in the final spot, but had a lot of wins overall.
Yeah, they did.
And then Georgia's kind of the surprise here.
Mm-hmm. Mike White shocking. Actually winning.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking that they've made it this far. Probably a good season for them. And I do have an update here just because NIT games were being played tonight. The Indiana State Sycamores will be going to the NIT finals. Definitely a big snub. Should have been in there over Virginia, but I digress. Beat Utah State 190, so big time score.
Another 100-point game. Yeah, Utah. Scored 100. Colorado scored 100 against Florida. That's Pac-10 or Pac-12. But yeah, all right. So when does Georgia and Seton Hall play?
Oh, they're playing right now. I was gonna say, it's the great Robbie Avila, otherwise known as you may know him as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or maybe Milk Chamberlain. He had 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists. He killed it today.
Well, looks like Seton Hall is going to win this one, though.
Yep.
They're up 80-66.
Oh, okay. You have a more updated score than I do. I was going to say it's almost over, and Seton Hall's got a double-digit lead. So it's probably going to be Seton Hall versus Indiana State. Should be a good game. Everyone was talking about how, the Big East got kind of snubbed. Only 3 entries despite a lot of good teams. And here's Seton Hall. They were kind of the first Big East team out. And then Indiana State Sycamores lost their Missouri Valley championship game to Drake and just barely missed out. It looks like that's a good team. So that should be a good game.
The NIT's a way for teams to salvage a season, especially in the mid majors. So all that. All right, Woopah, thanks for the NIT update. SciFi Mombie, I responded to you on that. Are we okay for next week, or do we need to deal with it tonight?
Nope.
But yeah, everybody, appreciate y'all being here tonight. So thank you for everything. Thanks for the support. You guys are amazing. 3 people still watching us. 2 on YouTube, 1 on Twitch. But hey, thanks. We're going to keep going. Our goal, our mission is to bring sports ball to the world and make you enjoy it, whether you like it or not. But Woopah, why don't you tell everybody about yourself, a little bit more about your channel, what's coming up?
Oh yeah. Excuse me. We've got tomorrow I think I'll be playing some Beholder. It's been a fun game that I've been playing. I just finished Guardians of the Galaxy finally. Only took me like a couple of years because my Xbox was not cooperating. But no, it's going to be fun times for that tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. And then I'm going to play I'm going to be on, I think, 540 Studio with Jason Fox.
Okay. All right.
Well, other than that, I'm getting a new PC this Friday.
Yay, congrats.
So that's cool. I'm only a cost my entire bonus check, but other than that,
well, but still, at
There
least
you
you
go.
can really get 24-hour stream. We put 24-hour stream.
oh hey,
We'll
now I'll
come
be able
help
to
you a
handle
bit.
it. I won't
Yay,
have to
there
worry
you
about
go.
my laptop catching on fire or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. SciFi Mombie. So what's up with you these days? I mean, you're exploding, by the way.
It's amazing how fast we're growing. So it's really exciting. We were supposed to do a show tonight, but we got caught side gigging, and Gorilla Man had his teeth removed and he got dentures, so we couldn't talk very well tonight. So we're moving his show to tomorrow night. And we're watching Smashing Pumpkins Full Circle documentary. So we're talking Smashing Pumpkins. Just a little bit of sports funniness from around Southwest Missouri. Kelly Harper used to be the coach of the Lady Bears here at Missouri
She's
State.
at Tennessee now. She's at Tennessee now.
Not anymore. She was fired yesterday.
Wow, that's
she
a
had
surprise.
5 years. She had 5 years left on her contract. That's a huge buyout.
Whoa,
they asked her to
that
leave.
is.
And a lot of people were calling in.
Wow.
I was sitting in the waiting room waiting on Gorilla Man, and there was a sports show on SEC Champion TV, and a lot of people were calling in very upset that they had fired her.
There's you can't help but think there's something else under the behind the scenes that is going on or alleged,
because that was her dream job. That was,
and she was very good.
Deliberately left Missouri State for that. Yeah. So it was kind of a shocker to everybody. And Conzo Martin signed his contract with Missouri State. He's not happy about the transfer portals, but he says he can't do anything about it. And so he just said he's going to try to recruit to the best that he can and bring Missouri State up to caliber. I think he can do it this time, second time around.
Yeah, there's just too much with transfer portals have just made everything too complicated. That's another issue that we need to have to talk about again down the road, because it's a whole issue in of itself. But the mid majors, you just can do the best you can and hope you get them, because you also have to make sure you don't lose your players. Tennessee was 20-13, 10-6 this year in the conference. Why would you fire a coach? Let me see if I can see anything on ESPN.
There's something weird going on, and they're not being open and honest with the public. But
yeah, Paul Feinbaum had something about there's got to be something. 5 years, 106 wins. There's got to be something brewing under this thing. So let's see what happens.
Sure.
Let's see what comes out as. Now she was fired after a 108-52 record and 420 plus win seasons. The teams never advanced beyond the Sweet 16. Now this is a school that had Pat Summitt that was winning titles easily every year. Anyway, who knows? Well, we'll talk about more next week and see what happens and see what we learn coming out of it. But honestly, you don't just fire a coach for that. If anything, they take another job elsewhere, like Mike White went to Georgia for Florida. You don't fire a coach on that, especially buying out for 5 years. That's a hell of a buyout. So,
and Caitlin Clark and Iowa State advanced to the Final Four. They beat LSC.
Wade, I love talking women's basketball. I really do, but I just got home. I got to get back to work tomorrow. Yeah. We've had so much action packed tonight. So, absolutely. So, and we'll talk about it. We can try to squeeze some of that in next week too. I do love talking women's sports. Women's college softball is one of my favorite things to watch too. So hopefully I can get out and hit a few games locally this year. But anyway,
but other than that, join us Saturday night for more Alf.
All right, cool. All right, JT, what are you up to?
Well, Thursday I may make an appearance.
You're the mercenary for hire, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I may head over there for some Discovery Season 5, quote unquote, action. Remains to be seen. I'll at least be in the chat if I'm not working.
Would you say?
Oh my gosh, we're already here, JT.
I heard someone tell me.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Beginning of
I've
the
been
end.
dreading this day. And then Friday, Dadman, we'll be doing Buck Rogers again, won't we?
Yep, we will. Friday at 9. 2 more episodes.
2 more episodes.
We'll see if they're any better than what we had before. So, and we'll actually have Dave C with us on Friday night.
Awesome.
Standing in for Daisy Blossom, who's going to be on the road. So, yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then Friday evening after that, late night, Fortnite with Mark D with a C. And we'll see what happens after that. So,
yep. I understand. I got you. But folks, on that note, I'm going to bed. I was thinking of doing a squirrel stream tonight, but I am not. Like JT said, Friday at 9 p.m. Will be 2 more issues of Buck Rogers. Tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern, I'm having a late night with Dadman and Friends. Hungry Boy has already been prearranged. I hope I can bribe the missus into coming on, and we'll see who else shows up for that. But join it, because I intended to do a Fortnite or a squirrel stream earlier today, or even a chill strat, because I really wanted to go general topic some, but our internet was out till 8 o'clock tonight, just now before show. So it's been chaotic. So just run out of gas. Tomorrow's another day, and I hope to see you there for that. But beyond Friday, so there will be random squirrel streams, chill chats, Fortnite streams, because I'm way behind now. But next Monday night, of course, next Tuesday night, we'll be back here at 9 p.m. But let me see something real quick. I just saw something I need to see. There's my glasses, because my calendar's on the other side of the room. Next Tuesday night. Okay, never mind. It popped up. I got to watch my mom for a little bit next Tuesday, but next Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, my guest will be Lorena Creole. We're going to talk to Lorena for a bit, come find out about her, come laugh with us, and have a good time with that. So that's what's coming up, that's planned. And then, of course, be ready for anything at a moment's notice. So follow me on Twitter, DadmanWalking55. Make sure you follow me on Twitch, DadmanWalking55, and subscribe on YouTube, and you will subscribe for the latest updates and get your notifications. The best way is definitely on Twitter. But hey, everybody, y'all have a great night. Thank you, JT, Woopah, SciFi Mombie. Thanks for being great panels, and we look forward to bringing the world more sports, and including things like women's sports and international football to kind of broaden the horizon and make the sports world good for everyone. Everybody have a great night, and we will catch you later. Bye, all.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.